Hello everyone, Giltar here with part 2 of my review of the 1 to 72 scale VF-27γ Lucifer Valkyrie Brera Sterne custom model. Now in this part I'll be going over the transformation sequence from fighter jet mode to GERWALK mode. Now I've removed multiple components to get this part a little, I guess, filmed easier. So I've got the gun pod, the landing gear, the molded pair of hands, and the shield removed already. And I also have an adapter piece. Well, not an adapter, but a component that you have to use for the transformation when you set it to GERWALK mode. So to start it off, first what you have to do is actually free the wings. Now the wings are tabbed into the leg sections here, which are folded up. There are a few different ways you could try doing it, but for me, I prefer to hold the wings close to the point where the tabs are connected and sort of pinch it while pulling out slightly. Because it is plastic, I'm trying to take great care with it because I've actually damaged a couple of parts on this model already. And I'll get into that during my pros and cons of this review. And so I've freed this wing here. I'll free this one again by pinching close to the point where the tab is and just pulling back, and you'll hear a snap once the plastic frees. And basically you can fold the wings up. Now once the wings are up, you want to move the legs out from the body, and the legs are actually tabbed into the body as well. But once you free the wing parts, everything sort of comes loose fairly easily. Now for the legs, the first thing you want to do is really just basically pull them out slightly, because there's actually some articulation, some moving parts. And if you pull the legs out, you'll see that it actually separates, and you actually get some articulation, you get some flexibility in the legs. And you do the same thing. Whoops, what was that? Oh, that was just a shoulder component. Don't worry about that. Do the same thing for the other leg, and you basically pull back, and again you get some articulation. Now you get basically the basic GERWALK mode. But we're not finished yet. The legs themselves, the lower legs, are sort of compacted into the lower leg. You just basically open up a panel, slide the leg out, and put the panel back in and lock it in place. And what you can do then is fold out the sort of feet components, or the almost like talons here, for the GERWALK mode's feet. I'll do the same thing again, and it's hard, I do apologize, it's hard to see, but you basically open up a flap, extend the lower leg, put the flap back down so that it locks the leg in place when it's expanded out. And again, you have these feet components. Now this is the basic GERWALK mode in the instruction booklet, but as you can see, it's just basically a fighter jet with legs. You can actually go to a greater length of, I guess, transformation by further freeing the legs slightly. And there are panels up here on where the upper thighs are. You just want to free them first. And then you free where the top of the thigh is. They're connected to what would be the sort of a chest plate in Batroid mode or humanoid mode here. So you're just going to free it slightly and turn it. Now it's a little difficult to do. You want to be careful because, again, we're working with not fragile but fairly delicate plastic pieces. And you're going to fold them back a bit behind the chest plate components. And basically you have greater mobility for the legs now. You can actually move them out to the sides if you choose to do so. And now with the legs further out, you can free the arms. Now all you have to do is just swing or basically rotate the arms out like this. They're below the body. You just turn them and keep them parallel to the body of the jet. And again, just turn them out. They're on hinges. Now this isn't done yet. You're almost there. So now you got the arms freed, you got the legs freed, and actually I'm just going to stop here for a moment and elevate my camera a little more so you guys can see better. So now you basically have the legs freed from the body and the arms freed from the body as well. Now bear in mind you're working with a lot of basically multiple pieces of moving plastic, and it can be a little kind of dicey, I guess, from time to time. Just keep patient, be patient with it, be careful, because the last thing you want to do is, damage it. And actually I've got a piece here that came free that shouldn't have. Pardon me for a moment while I get this fixed. There we go. So the cockpit section is here, the arms are to the side, and what you want to do now is just basically rotate the arms down, flip them out, get the shoulder plate up, and then you got the arms. Do the same thing here. Rotate them around, flip the arm panel up, and then the legs are here, but you need to secure them to the body. And what you do, this is kind of tough to show on camera, so I really won't, to be honest, I apologize, I won't be doing this, but you take this adapter piece, and there's a slot here on the adapter piece. I can make a note, this rectangular slot, and you just plug it into the back of this adapter peg that is normally used for the gun pod. You just clip it on here, and there are little tabs at the top here, rectangular tabs. One in the center and two below there. And what they do is they match up to these those pegs, or rather, sort of holes or slots, match up to this peg here and these two down here, and just basically peg them in after you get this connected. And it's kind of tricky to do normally, and so again, I won't even attempt to do it on camera. It would just take up too much time, and it wouldn't work out well. So I'm just going to take this off camera for a moment, get this fitted on, and be right back. Now, despite the sort of fidgety nature of this transformation, it isn't difficult because of the transformation design. It actually is a pretty straightforward transformation design. However, the real problem is basically there are a lot of parts that are moving about and you're dealing with them, and that's really the main problem. If any of you guys have any familiarity with Transformers action figures, and the one that in particular that I'd like to mention is Revenge of the Fallen Leader Class Jetfire. That is an action figure, a toy, that has a really easy transformation scheme, but it's difficult because you have a lot of tabs to get in place in order to properly transform it. And that's why that particular action figure, in my opinion, kind of relates to the Macross Frontier model kits here, because that's what essentially it is. It's an easy transformation, but you're dealing with a lot of moving parts. So here's GERWALK mode. I didn't attach the hands, and there's just really no need to. Like, this is basically GERWALK mode, and unfortunately, it's really touchy. There are a lot of moving joints in the legs, and you can get it to stand if you take some time to balance it and move everything just right to get it, in place. But to be honest, this is a model that greatly benefits from an action base. The SMS action bases that Bandai has made for the Macross Frontier model kits are basically action bases that are made for the Macross Frontier models. And yeah, again, honestly, you're going to want, like, if you get these model kits, these VF-25s or 27 models, I recommend getting an SMS action base, because you can have them posed on a surface, but they benefit from being on an action base and just being held aloft, because you can put them in better poses, and their sort of fidgety nature of all the sort of moving parts, it works out better if they're suspended from an action base. Now, unfortunately, I can't show you guys the GERWALK in a proper standing position, just because I've sort of transformed it, and it's not the greatest job, but that's the basic sort of steps you would take, minus putting on the hands, putting on that adapter or support piece that I showed earlier. And there are two plates that go on the front of the shins here. So I'll just leave this part of the review as it is for now. I'll be back in part 3 with GERWALK mode in a better position, standing on my table here, just to give you guys a better idea of how it should look. And then I'll transform from GERWALK mode to Batroid mode, or basically humanoid mode of the robot. So thanks for watching so far. I hope you guys enjoyed the review up to this point, and I'll be back very soon.